Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is Kirk Williams, and you are watching the Access College and Career Fair virtual experience main stage. That's where we are. We're on the main stage today. Thank you guys again for joining us this evening. This is actually a really special evening session, evening edition. Most of the fair happens during the day, 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. that you guys can come and see all different college recruiters, career readiness professionals that come in and are available to meet with you at any time. And again, it's free, doesn't cost you anything. Students, parents, educators, everyone can come in and be a part of what we're doing with the College Access Fair. And I'm going to make sure I put this up so that you guys can see what. So this is where you go to the fair. Again, we're on the main stage right now, but I want you guys to go to collegeaccessgroup.net/ACCF virtual and see all the different colleges that are available to you. UNR, Pacific University of Oregon, UC Riverside, New Mexico Tech, DigiPen Tech, in so many different colleges, Hussein College in Studio. There are so many different places that are here at the College Fair ready for you. And we want you to go. Again, it's free to go and take a look at that thing at that fair. And we just enjoy doing this for our community, and we really appreciate you guys being a part of it. But today, right now, this is a family parent educator night, and we get the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Rene Cantu on the main stage. He has been a phenomenal force in our community for such a long time. And just want to really thank you for being here. He's the executive director for JAG Nevada, Jobs for Nevada's Graduates. Their mission, yeah, right. Did I get it right?
Yep, you sure did.
Yeah, they have a great mission to graduate all students in their care and then place them on the path of college, on the path of careers, or actually both of them. That's their mission. And Rene is their fearless leader. He does such a phenomenal job with JAG, and we want to welcome him to the stage. And not only that, man, he's been in education for 29 years, right? 29 years.
That's it. A long time.
That's a long time. Now I've been in education for 20 years, so I have some catching up to do. But Rene has been running. Yeah, got to keep running, got to keep pushing. And Rene has been doing that, and we're following suit. And he has a relatable story that I want to really get into, because he can talk with anyone, whether it's, someone that's in a really high position, because he's been in those positions in education, or whether it's the student that may be struggling, because in his story, he did some things in high school where he barely made it, but now he's at the top of the food chain when you talk about education. And I just want to say thank you very much for being here, for joining us on the main stage. Dr. Cantu, welcome.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And you're talking a little bit about, kind of my background, and, just to describe a little bit. I was the first student in my family to go to college. My mom dropped out in 11th grade. My dad got his GED in the Army, but they always wanted me to go to college. When I ended up in high school, I really had no idea what college was. We were talking about college. Yeah. And in fact, my parents were going through their things at the time. They were going through a separation and divorce. And I was 15 or 16 years old, rebelling. And so I started skipping class and hanging out with people who like to get in trouble. So guess what? You are your companions. Our parents know that. And so I started getting into trouble. I had a counselor as a junior tell me, Cantu, you may as well drop out now, because you're never going to amount to anything. And boy, that lady really upset me. And I'm going to show this lady that I'm not stupid, And so I went to the University of Texas. I went in as a provisional student because I didn't have the grades or, test scores. I was this close on the SAT. Wow. And graduated with honors, master's, PhD. I wanted to go back. I couldn't find her, and just thank her for giving me the motivation to do it. But the message is, to parents and to students, going to college, getting a post-secondary education is the key to a brighter future. Sure. You need to invest in education. You need to see this as a step in your career pathway. And I'll tell you, my last name is Cantu, so if I can do it, you can too.
I love that. Oh man, I love that. And but you're really right on point. And even from the individuals that that person, that counselor told you, hey, Cantu, even calling you by your last name, I Cantu, hey, you better think about
She knew
something
me.
else. But even from having someone like that, to give you, to motivate you, that motivation was already built inside of you. She just struck a nerve, right? And then you just
Really
kind of,
did.
hey, I'm going after this and I'm going to prove you, but really you're telling yourself, this is what I can do and I'm going to do it. And eventually turn it around to, you know what, I was mad at you for telling me I couldn't do it, but now that motivation, that kind of pushed me to where you are today, where you are now. 29 years in education, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But it all kind of started with someone telling you that you couldn't do anything and you wanted to prove them wrong, but really inside you had that motivation going and you were going to do well regardless of what anybody said.
And the message to young people and to families is don't let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. Don't let anybody define your potential. You can go as far as you want to go. If you make up your mind, if you're willing to fall on your face and fail, as long as you're willing to get back up again and keep going, and hopefully not with too many blows, but learn from your failures to build greater successes. That really is what it takes. And my passion and what happened to me in high school really propelled me into the career I went into, which is working with young people who receive the message, hey, maybe this is not for you, to tell them, college is for you. Getting a high school degree is for you. Having that amazing job, that career. I remember my parents, they wanted me to have a job where I didn't have to, where I could be in air conditioning. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
My dad worked, he was a meat cutter and a truck driver, and so they wanted something better for us. And so for me, that passion of helping young people to realize their full potential has been a driving force, because if it happened to me, I know it happens to so many young people. And so I bring a message of hope to our families about education.
That's incredible. I love it. I love it. I mean, a little bit about what I went through. I mean, you mentioned truck driving, right? My dad was a truck driver as well, and my mom worked in the casinos. I grew up here in Las Vegas, and she worked in the casinos, and that's something that she said she never wanted me to do. So I had to go to college. She pushed me to do those things because she didn't want me to get caught up in the fast money. She wanted to play the long game. And
Yep.
And one quick story I'll tell you with truck driving. I was in college and my dad picked me up because he drove long distance, and he picked me up in his truck to take me back to Vegas. I was living in Colorado at the time. I went to University of Colorado, and he was taking me back. And I was like, okay, I'm going with my dad. He's driving this truck, and I'm going to help him I'm going to help him with his work because he's driving us home. I'm going to help him with his work. And man, I cannot tell you how hard that work was. I had a new respect, admiration for my father, and I knew that I would never want to do that kind of hard work ever in my life. So I had to do something. I had to get a degree because I knew I wasn't going to do anything with my hands like that. But
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. It's very hard work. And, my dad worked, well into, 70 years old before he stopped working, worked with his hands, worked with his body. And, one of the things about, my father and mother was that even though they were uneducated, they were incredibly intelligent.
yes.
And that's one of the things that the degree you have, whether you're a dropout or not, that doesn't determine your intelligence. Your intelligence is something that's inside of you. Just like when you get a college degree, that's something that no one can take away from you.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. And that's the kind of thing that you are working with young people even today in your day job as far as executive director for JAG. You tell these young folks these kinds of things, correct? I mean, that's kind of where your passion and your experience, you can help these young people that you guys are working with and help them on the right path and help them see the things that you've seen and the experience the things that you've experienced, you can help them in their past or their past path to a successful life. That's kind of what you guys do with JAG, right?
Yep. And so, for parents and students, this JAG program is all over Nevada. We have many, many programs here in Clark County. And so what we do is we help young people learn workplace readiness skills. We work with them if they're behind in their schoolwork or not doing as well as they could, to get the tutoring and mentoring they need. And so step one, graduate. Step two is prepare for a career pathway. And so career pathway, many of them go through college or some form of post-secondary education. So graduation, the message is graduation is not enough. We need to help young people find, what they want to do and so, JAG follows students for 12 months after graduation to make sure that they get their first steps on a career pathway. So, as examples, we just sent 21 students up to the Tesla Gigafactory, and they're in this thing called a manufacturing development program at Tesla. So these are kids out of high school making $17 an hour. They are getting benefits. Many of our kids, this is the sad statement, they're getting benefits for the first time ever sometimes because the system is so bad. They have stock options, and Tesla stock options are pretty dang good. And then they enroll at Truckee Meadows Community College, and Tesla pays for them to take these classes so that they can advance in the company. So we have similar partnerships in healthcare, in IT. The key is finding those high demand career pathways, for young people after graduation. So, and we're in every part of the state. We have a big presence here. We're in Reno as well, and many small towns across Nevada.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, think about even, some of these students that you guys are working with, and you just mentioned sending them up to Tesla, and they, having benefits. A lot of our students have never had benefits, have never had health insurance.
That's right.
And then you even talking about stocks. I mean, a lot of us, and financial literacy isn't something that's widely, taught in our schools. What a student that has stock options in a company like Tesla, wow, what an amazing opportunity, because a lot of us don't even know what stocks are, let alone having it, right?
That's right. It's about breaking those barriers, breaking that ceiling, and achieving, lifting yourself up. And really, I think for our communities, it's about lifting our families up too. Our families have struggled. Our neighborhoods and communities have, struggled as well. So to be able to, break that ceiling, go beyond and to show that, we all have what it takes, to do this, and then, once you're done, stretch your hand out and help somebody else get across the finish line. That's what it's all about. And that's what's going to help our state and our community prosper.
I agree with you 100%. And with that said, one of the things that I think that you're going to be able to do, or that you're hoping to be able to do in the next thing that you're looking to do, is get on that Nevada State Board of Education, because you're running for an office, correct? And
State Board of Education, District 4, yeah.
This is District 4.
District 4, yeah. So District 4 is Stephen Horsford's congressional district. We all know, Stephen and the work that he does. And so the state board has appointed and elected officials. I would be a representative for the people of District 4, and just a few things in terms of why I'm running. I know that, I have deep experience in education. I've been working in equity and access to education, overall access to higher education, from the time I left college when I was in my early and mid 20s. So equity and access for all has been a key thing. Our system, needs to do a better job in terms of graduating African-American students at the same rates. I was looking at some employment rates for African-American and white and Hispanic and others. We need to do a better job helping all of our kids graduate, find employment and go to college. There are these disparities, that need so much attention, and, the other thing, so it's equity and access. And the other thing is, to bring, a mindset where students and families are made the center of all decisions, rather than special interest groups or other things, really focusing on, with every question, every decision, is this the decision that's going to be best for our kids and families? Because I know, and I think our audience knows how important education is. It makes the difference. It makes such an amazing difference. It's indescribable. But those are the reasons I'm running. This is a key time in education in Nevada. We have a massive economic downturn with COVID. So many of our families have lost jobs. Just 4 months ago, we had over 30% unemployment rate. It's now down to 14%, which is still one of the highest in the country.
Exactly.
And guess what? If you're not working, go to college, get that high demand job that's not going to go away when the economy turns, and that's what it's all about. So I'm running because I believe that the education of our children is at risk, at risk of cuts, at risk of, not being a priority, being a political football, and I would be there to advocate to make sure that we deliver the best education that we can for all kids.
That's incredible. Thank you very much for sharing that. And I just really applaud your effort and what you're doing. And I just really like everything that you're doing. And again, I know you personally. We've met several times before. I've come to the JAG office, had a presentation, and I know you care. You even offered me a sandwich. Like, hey, here you go. you're the head honcho at the office, and you're just sitting there like, hey, here you go. We're having a great conversation. You're relatable. And I think what we need is someone that can relate to us, and as far as the constituents here in Nevada, in the State Board of Education. Not that anybody else that's running isn't relatable at all, and I don't want to say that.
No.
I know you. And
I know the incumbent is a fine person. He's an intelligent person, and he's a good guy. I mean, there's nothing. I'm not going to say anything negative about him. I put my name in the hat because it's a critical time. I bring a unique mindset, and I know I can make a difference.
Absolutely, 100%. And I believe you can too. And I'm sure he could. I think he's the incumbent, so he's been around for a while. But this is, I just want to make sure that I made sure everybody understands this is not a political thing. This is all about kids, all about students, families. We want everyone to be successful. And Dr. Cantu has been doing phenomenal work here in our community for such a long time, from the Clark County School Board to now, JAG, and now going after the Department of Education Board. I mean, you've been doing so many great things. And how can we, connect with you on another level? How do we get to know more information about you? I know the election is coming up soon, so how do we, find out more?
You can look me up, Rene Cantu on Facebook, pretty active there. But my website has a lot of information, about my personal story, what I stand for, what I would bring to the office. And that website is www.cantu4nevada. It's a number 4, www.cantu4nevada.com. Okay. And you can email me. It's Rene, RENE, 1 E at the end, at cantu4nevada.com. And you know what? I answer my Facebook. I answer phone calls. I answer, any means that people communicate with me. I will have a conversation with you. Whether you agree with me or not, we can have a constructive dialogue as fellow citizens. So I look forward to hearing from some of the listeners today, and would be glad to answer any questions.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much. I hope this was good for you. Hope we had a great conversation. I mean, you're great.
Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again. And we should talk about having, College Access do some more work with our specialists and our students. We really appreciate you. And thank you for taking the time, and thank you for the invitation, and to everyone who's listening.
Absolutely. So again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you too. And I know we will do something together once this pandemic, eases up, because we both talked about it. We like to engage with people. We like to see people, and you can only do so much on this virtual platform. So we have energy together. So I definitely want to get together with you and with everybody over there at JAG. I really appreciate everything that you guys do.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. You too. And everyone, we really appreciate you guys for joining us. Make sure you guys go check out the College Fair, collegeaccessgroup.net /ACCF virtual. Have 30 or so colleges ready for you, careers ready for you to have engaged with. They are there. And I know a lot of JAG students are there because they registered. So that's great. And I appreciate you for pushing that out there, Dr. Cantu. But everybody, thank you very much. Have a great night. And we'll see you next time on the main stage. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Good night, everybody.
Good night.